We've 9 schools in Southampton involved in Everybody Writes. Some have just planned for an Everybody Writes Day. Some schools have got the capacity to do something bigger and to have a more long-lasting project which is going on. Some have even done some building work, building a writing garden, for instance. So schools have responded at different levels that's right for them.
Our attainment in writing over the past 3 years has been on an upward trajectory, but last year took quite a dramatic decline. And throughout the improvements, we've not been able to close the gap sufficiently well between reading and writing. So our standards are below the national, and we're working very hard to get them up. We find that many children come into our schools unfamiliar with the process of writing. They don't see many people writing at home. And sometimes they come into school and they can't even hold a pencil and they're not used to mark making at home. And so we have quite a big job to do. We've been working with our schools for many years now on developing writing skills and working with them and encouraging the teachers to use fun and exciting ways to stimulate writing. The project was of particular interest to us because in our observations of teaching and learning around the city, we'd seen very good teaching of skills and knowledge within the literacy lessons, but we weren't seeing children really engaged and motivated in writing, and certainly not producing the quality of writing across the curriculum that they were doing in their literacy lessons. Also, we weren't seeing the opportunities across the curriculum being utilised sufficiently well to allow children practice with their writing skills and to make choices about the sorts of writing they will be doing.
Before we started this project, we had a real issue with writing. The issue is historical and very deep-rooted. For many, many years, our end of Key Stage 2 writing results have been very poor. Our end of Key Stage 1 results weren't marvellous either. We had very few Level 3 writers. Alongside that, the children were reluctant to write. They didn't really enjoy writing. They found the lack of purpose very difficult to overcome. Lots of examples of writer's block.
Writing is a challenging thing to learn. It isn't easy. It's a physically difficult thing to do when you're very young, coordinating it all. So I think all of that together sometimes makes children worry about it or not want to do it. Obviously, we have to get the children to understand that there is a need to write. There are so many things that you have to write. But what we really want to do is get them to understand that you can enjoy writing. In itself, it can be fun.
I think the benefits for schools in being involved in the Everybody Writes project is that they've had a chance to look at writing in the school, look at the teaching of writing, evaluate it and think, what is it we need to do to excite children about writing, to motivate and engage them? By being part of a cluster, schools have felt that they're not on their own, and it's really helped them working with other people, both in training and in cluster meetings. They've been able to share experiences and talk to each other about how their projects are going, and I felt this has been a really invaluable experience for them.
I loved the website. The website is interactive, it's fun, it's very visually stimulating, and it caught my eye, and it's very few things that catch the eye of a head teacher quite like that these days. It's really high quality resources backing it up as well. And we started with the whole school audit and have worked forward from there.
It's really important to keep the children enthusiastic and motivated about writing. It's not something all of them want to do naturally. And having a purpose such as creating our book has really stimulated them. It's made them really excited about writing. The children are writing more and they're writing much better. And I think that's particularly important for boys, that they have a context to write in.
It's made them view writing a little bit differently. I think they realise that writing isn't just everyone sitting down with a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen. Writing can be very broad, it can be very creative, and that when you do writing in different ways, the children don't notice they're writing. They're quite motivated to write, and even some of the weaker writers, perhaps, they just want to write, and they don't notice they're doing it, which of course is fantastic.
We've been involved with Everybody Writes now for about 7 months, and I don't think it's a coincidence that during that 7 months we've seen a real impact and improvement in our standards of writing, the actual bit we're measured by, if you like. We've always had an issue with standards, but this year, since our involvement with the project and since the staff have been more focused on effective writing strategies that we've developed, we've actually seen a really important rise in our writing at level 4. Looking at the evidence, looking at the data, it does seem to coincide with our joining the project and all the work the staff did at the beginning of the piece of work about what is effective writing. And importantly, we use the audit tool that's provided by the Everybody Writes project to identify what we weren't doing. It didn't generate vast action plans, it didn't need to, but what it did was focus the teachers. And since that focus, particularly with the older children, it all just seems to be a lot easier. And I think that's what we were aiming for, to take the fear out. And it does seem to be working.
All of the schools in the project were able to demonstrate ways in which the progress and attainment of writing within the groups of children that they were working with have increased. Some schools by an astonishing amount. We have one school where children made a whole level of progress. Over 37% of children made a whole level of progress in 2 terms. So in terms of the standards agenda, we absolutely achieved that. But we achieved a lot more. We've seen schools absolutely galvanised into action with writing. I wouldn't have dreamt that we've achieved what we have achieved with the schools that have been part of the project. I think it's just been such a far-reaching project, not just within writing, but within all of the curriculum development that schools are engaged with now, with the pupil voice work that we've been doing, through the assessment for learning, personalised learning. It's embraced everything, which we really didn't expect it to do. So it is the core vehicle for all of those things, and we're very, very pleased with the outcomes that we've seen so far.
Our vision in Southampton is that we have an Everybody Writes Day every year, and it's something that's truly embedded into the curriculum.
It's work because we were part of something. And we were part of something that was well structured and that was set up properly. A lot of the credit really has to go to the power behind the straightforward and easy thinking behind the projects. There is no confusion like you get with so many initiatives. Everybody Writes, it's very straightforward. You audit your practice, you improve your practice, you see the rise in your results.